In Task 1, Planning, you will be providing 1. A description of your context for learning. 2. Your lesson plans with materials. 3. Detailed commentary explaining your plans. In Planning Task 1, you will describe your plans for the learning segment and explain how your instruction is appropriate for the focused learner and the content you are teaching. As you develop your plans, you need to think about the following. 1. What does your focused learner know? What can your focused learner do? And what is your focused learner still learning to do? 2. What does the focused learner need to learn to make progress toward the selected learning goal? 3. What are the important knowledge and skills you want your focused learner to develop within the learning segment? 4. What instructional strategies and learning tasks will you design to support access, learning, and related communication? 5. How will you monitor and record the focused learner's progress toward lesson objectives? And 6. How is the teaching you propose informed by your knowledge of your focused learner? Basically, you need to choose a student with an IEP to focus on, your focused learner. Then, come up with a learning goal for this focused learner. Then, create a learning segment, which is 3 to 5 lesson plans. These could be one-on-one or group lesson plans, addressing your learning goal. And finally, provide commentary for your planning choices. Step 1. Select one learner with an individualized education plan as your focus for this assessment. This learner should have multiple learning needs, be in gen ed or special education settings. You will continue to teach this student in the context in which you normally teach. Note: to protect confidentiality, in the commentaries and in all other written materials, refer to your focused learner by their first name only or in general terms, like my focused learner. Step 2. Obtain permission for video recording from family and school. Step 3. Complete the special education context for learning information form. This form asks you to 1. Identify one learning goal for the focused learner. This will be key to your focus for the learning. It does not have to be academic, but it must relate to an IEP goal. Note: an academic goal may be easier to address with the edTPA rubrics than a non-academic goal. 2. Obtain baseline data for knowledge skills related to the learning goal. This will be used to design 3 to 4 lesson learning segment. It can include CBMs, pre-tests, work samples, skills checklists, observation notes, information from teachers, skills on tests. 3. Identify one expressive receptive communication skill related to the learning goal. Choose a communication skill that your focused learner will need to use to participate in learning tasks and/or demonstrate learning related to the learning goal. This can be new skills or one the learner is already working on. 4. Design a learning segment. Again, this is 3 to 5 consecutive lessons addressing the learning goal. Note: your segment may cover multiple objectives and skills, but you will only document one for this part of the edTPA. 5. Write a lesson plan for each lesson in the learning segment. Every lesson plan requires a measurable objective, assessment tools and data collection procedures, instructional strategies and learning tasks, the communication skill and plan supports for its use, plans for teaching towards generalization, maintenance, and/or self-directed use of knowledge and skills. Be a maximum of 4 pages in length. If you co-teach, you should take the lead role in writing these lesson plans. Lesson plans should be written in your own words. Do not copy verbatim from curriculum materials, but communicate the plans in your own words. Lesson plans should describe instruction and plan supports for the learning goal. Be sure to number your lesson plans. Your lesson plans should be detailed enough that a substitute or other teacher could understand them well enough to use them. When instruction of the focus learner occurs in a group setting, write lesson plans for the group, including any adaptations for the focus learner's needs. Respond to the commentary prompts listed in the Planning Commentary section prior to teaching the learning segment. Submit your original lesson plans. Note, if you make changes while teaching the learning segment, you may offer reflection on those changes in the Instruction Task 2 and Assessment Task 3 commentaries. Select and submit key instructional and support materials. These are needed to understand what you and the focus learner are doing, no more than 5 additional pages per lesson plan. The instructional materials might include written support materials, graphic organizers, task analyses, or checklists. Submit blank copies of all written assessments and/or data sheets, including data collection procedures for any oral or performance tasks. Do not submit learner work samples for this task. You should keep a daily assessment record to monitor the focus learner's progress toward all lesson objectives. Provide citations for the source of all materials that you did not create. This would include published texts, websites, and material from other educators. List all citations by lesson number at the end of the planning commentary. Note, citations do not count toward the commentary page limit. You will then complete a planning commentary write-up, which includes addressing 5 different areas of your planning: alignment of the learning goals, standard lesson objectives, and planning supports, knowledge of focused learner to inform teaching of the learning segment, supporting learning, supporting the focused learner's use of expressive and receptive communication, and monitoring learning. What do I need to write and submit? To summarize, a description of your context for learning, your lesson plans with materials, and detailed commentary explaining your lesson plans. How will the evidence of my teaching practice be assessed? In this case, detailed rubrics will be used by reviewers. It is very important that you include all criteria listed within each section of each rubric. For example, let's look at the criteria for Rubric 2, Planning, Challenge, and Support for the Focus Learner. For example, let's look at the criteria for Rubric 2, Planning, Challenge, and Support for the Focus Learner. To achieve a Level 4, you need learning tasks and planned support strategies provide appropriate levels of support and challenge, reflecting the learner's strengths, needs, and interests. If your learning task does not address student interests, you would not be able to receive a Level 4 on this rubric. Every detail counts. For Task 1, you will be evaluated using 5 different rubrics. Rubric 1, Planning for Alignment and Development of Knowledge and Skills. Rubric 2, Planning, Challenge, and Support for the Focused Learning. Rubric 3, Justification of Instruction and Support. Rubric 4, Supporting the Focused Learner's Use of Expressive and Receptive Communication. Rubric 5, Planning Assessments to Monitor and Support Learning. Please take time to carefully read each of these rubrics as you are completing each task. Compare your write-ups to each appropriate rubric to ensure you have included all necessary descriptive information to obtain the level that you desire.